Every time I post a run like this, the comments say the same thing. How do you keep getting gameplays like this? Or the classic, YouTuber luck strikes again. So today, I'm going to actually answer that, because it's not luck. Well, it's mostly not luck. There are 5 things that separate winning once from winning consistently in Balatro, and once you understand them, you'll stop losing your runs you should have won. Welcome back to the Orange Aces channel, everyone. Today, a quick heads up before we start. This is not the kind of video I usually make. I mostly just throw up wacky, crazy gameplays, so this is a bit of an experiment. And if you like this more in-depth teaching style, let me know in the comments, because whether I make more of these is honestly up to you. So here's the deal. Consistently winning in Balatro comes down to 5 things: economy, deck fixing, boss awareness, proper joke selection, and yeah, like we mentioned earlier, a little bit of luck. And we're going to go ahead and break down all 5 of them. One thing up front, this is going to be mostly focused on white stake. And I know what some of you are thinking. White stake is easy. Why do I need a guide? Anyone can win on white stake one time. The hard part is winning consistently in any mode of Balatro and being able to go for the wacky over-the-top runs I do without dying halfway through the recording. That consistency is the entire game. Most of what we cover scales up to higher stakes too, and I'll flag the spots where the higher stakes kind of change things a little bit here. Economy. Period. This is the most important thing in the entire game, and it's the first thing I bring up when someone asks how I pull off these runs. Here's why. Balatro is a random game, but with enough money, almost every seed can be forced or manipulated into what you want it to be. Sometimes the right pick is easy and obvious, and sometimes it takes hundreds of dollars of rerolls to dig out that overpowered piece you're looking for, but the baseline never changes. You need money to manipulate this game consistently. So what does focusing on economy actually look like? First, respect the interest cap. You earn interest on your save money each round, so holding your cash matters. But there's a ceiling. Know where that ceiling is and try to sit at it. For example, the ceiling is $25, so if you hold $25, you're going to get an extra $5 held at the end of each round. That is extremely important. Secondly, be conscious of every value generating card and joker that shows up. Things that print money, things that build over time. Economy jokers aren't flashy, but they're the engine that lets everything else happen. Make economy your #1 priority early, because there was genuinely nothing worse in this game than finding the joker that would have carried your run and you have no way to afford it. And then the run just ends over money. So don't let money be the reason that you lose in Balatro. Okay, #2 here, deck fixing. This is honestly one of my favorite things in all of Balatro. There is almost nothing more satisfying than taking a full 52 card deck and shaving it all the way down to a single card repeated over and over and over and over. For example, red seal steel kings for a Baron build, gold seal polychrome 2s for a hack Wii combo maybe. It scratches a very specific part of my brain. But here's the important part of deck fixing in this game. Deck fixing does not always mean going down to one card. What it really means is fixing your deck so you can always reasonably find your winning hand. Going for a straight build? Maybe you want to cut all the face cards and lock in the middle straights. If you're going for a flush, maybe you dump every spade so you're funneled into one suit. The goal is that when you need your hand, it's there every single time. And honestly, there's nothing worse than whiffing your 4 of a kind by a single card because you're sitting on a 60+ card deck with only 5 copies of what you need. Fixing the deck is what stops that from happening. And it's more than just removing cards from the deck. It's enhancing the ones that you keep. Slap a +4 malt or +40 chips onto a card that you're going to play over and over, and down the stretch, that adds up to a massive difference. Cut the dead weight out of the deck and buff the survivors that remain. And real quick, if this is helping you out so far, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel a ton. Let's get back to it. #3 is going to be boss awareness. And in my opinion, this is one of the most overlooked parts of Balatro. The bosses don't usually look that scary, and they shouldn't be if you're paying attention to them. But if you're not, they'll quietly end more runs than anything else on this list. Here's the habit I want you to build. Before you ever walk into a boss blind, ask yourself one question. If the worst possible boss comes up next, can I still win? Let me give you a real example. Let's say you're going all in on hearts, and Ante 7, the boss is the head. Every heart gets debuffed. If you haven't thought about that ahead of time, your whole build just got turned off. So the question becomes, do I have a backup? If you're playing flushes, did you leave yourself enough cards to build a flush in a different suit? Can your jokers put up enough score on their own without the card enhancements? Maybe you grab a couple of tarot cards and cobble something together, but there always needs to be a plan B. This is exactly how runs die. Not because you didn't build a strong enough joker lineup before the score, but because the plant is up next, and all of your face cards are debuffed. And your entire scoring plan was hanging Chad and photograph. You had the power, the boss just turned it off. Now sometimes the games hands you an out, the right voucher, or you get lucky and find a Shiko to just delete boss finds entirely, but you can't count on that. Treat every boss blind as a checkpoint you have to plan around. They've ruined more of my runs than I'd like to admit, so don't let them ruin yours. They still will. And number 4 is proper joker selection. Proper joker selection, this one sounds like common sense. Take good jokers, duh, but it ties every single thing we've talked about together, and it might be the most important skill to actually learn in the game. Specifically, knowing when to take a joker and when to walk away from one. Now, I'm not claiming to be some mythical Balatro genius, that's Dr. Spectred for you, but with 600 plus hours in, I've picked up a feel for this. Here's the trap. You know, you find the idol, one of the best scoring jokers in the game. Amazing, right? But your deck has 60 plus cards, and only 6 of them are the card that the idol needs. So that's roughly 10% chance to even hit it. So maybe right now, you shouldn't be leaning towards that idol at all. There's a real learning curve on when to grab a powerful joker and when to skip it. Don't put your run in jeopardy just because you want the shiny, overpowered thing. Sometimes you just have to buy the less shiny jokers, and those ones will help you curate your run and get you to where you need to be, and you can always pick up that idol later. And this loops right back to economy. Sometimes your only option is a joker like the to-do list. Not exciting, not really that fun, but you've got a choice. Skip it, or use it to build money so you can afford the jokers you actually want for your build. Selection isn't just, is this joker good? It's, is this joker good for me right now? And that's the biggest point of this entire video. Sometimes it makes sense to take that calculated risk. Sometimes it burns you. That instinct only comes from playing more. And one big warning, this gets way harder as you climb the stakes and jokers start showing up with stickers on them. The cost of a wrong pick goes up fast. And lastly, luck. I did some digging on this, and even the community disagrees on whether every single seed is actually beatable. I really wish I could tell you that if you master the first 4 things in this video, you'll have a 100% win rate, but honestly, that's just not true, and I don't think anyone's ever going to achieve that. The best players in the entire world still hit a wall sometimes. Maybe luck was the factor. Maybe the only real line to win that run was to play sub-optimally to force a completely different outcome. Balatro has an absurd number of seeds. It's likely most people have never played the same one twice, unless you're running a seeded game on purpose. So with 150 jokers and a nearly infinite spread of what's coming next in the shop or the next pack queue, there will be times you do everything perfectly and still come up short. That's the game of Balatro. Accepting that is part of getting good at it. But here's what I can promise you. Focus on these 5 things and you will get better at the game. Economy to control the game, deck fixing so your hand is always there, boss awareness so nothing catches you off guard, and proper joker selection so you never gamble the run away, and an honest respect for the luck that this game has because there's a lot of it. You'll realize this game, with enough experience, can be manipulated almost any way you want. You just have to play with caution to avoid dying and precision to build the bankroll that finds what you're looking for. That's it from me. Like I said at the top, this is not my usual style of video, so I really do want to know, did you enjoy this? Do you want more breakdowns like it? Drop a comment and let me know, because that decides whether I make more. If you got something out of it, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. I'm Orange Aces. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.